Hello, welcome to Other View. We have today a very special guest, Mr. Parakala Prabhakar, who is an ardent critic of the policies of the Narendra Modi government as far as the Hindutva politics practiced by the Sangha Parivar. During the last 10 years, he continuously criticized the government policies which affected the people of India, the divisive tactics of this government as well as the Sangha Parivar. And he continues to do the same. During the last elections, he predicted that BJP will not cross the 240 mark in the Lok Sabha, and in reality it happened like that also. Welcome, sir. I would like to start with asking that the BJP lost its simple majority by its own, and now a coalition government is in power, and Narendra Modi himself is describing his government as an NDA government, not my government or BJP government, but as an NDA government. Do you see any change in the attitude of the government and in policies of the government?
Well, thank you very much for inviting me and giving me an opportunity to talk about the general issues that are facing the country. I would like to put this election verdict 2024 in its context. You see, I see this as a very tight slap on the face of the Prime Minister and his politics and the BJP and the kind of narrative that it has pursued over the last 10 years. It's a complete, total, unambiguous rejection of its politics, of its economic policy, of its social policy, of the kind of divisive politics that they have played. And there is another aspect to it, that a report by some very eminent people, which was released recently, Vote for Democracy, it has empirically shown that about 79 seats the BJP and NDA secured because of voting hike. That, the votes polled and the votes counted and the opaqueness of the election commission, these have contributed, which means if you take out those 79 from the number that the NDA has, it wouldn't have crossed 213, the entire NDA, not just the BJP. Which means that there are doubts about whether 2024 mandate has been stolen. So that is another thing. We can elaborate on that if there is some time. But the point that you raised, this is a complete rejection, as I said, even with manipulation. And the government, especially the leadership, is trying to pretend that, they are back in power. And there's nothing has changed. I consider that as very immature. A mature and a self-confident and a strong leadership would admit vulnerabilities. If there is some kind of a rejection, some kind of a lesson taught by the electorate, they would quickly try to make amends. Now, on the one hand, they are saying, it's not Modi, it's NDA, still on a lower key. But on a higher key, they are saying Modi 3.0. And picture abhi baki hai. There's a lot more to be done. And the kind of very aggressive narrative of, Hindu assertion that you can see. The implementation of the 3 criminal laws, and, there is a move to amend very drastically the Waqf law, the act, and so many other things, the lynchings that are going on, the kind of rhetoric that you see. And some of the BJP members of parliament, after having been elected, very publicly saying that, some groups like minorities, like Muslims, etc., they have not voted for us. and therefore we need not serve them, we need not represent them, we need not take up their causes. Look, these things are a clear indication that somehow or the other they want to pretend that the country has not rejected them. Their policies are vindicated. This is they're trying to project. They're trying to pretend, actually.
But is the pretension will get the people's mandate? What do you think? The people will realize that these kind of pretensions are going on, and the real numbers are not with them, and their policies have been rejected. Even in UP, they got a severe setback. These are clearly visible for the people. How these people can overcome the people's mandate by mere pretension?
Yeah, that's a very valid point. This election, 2024 election, as I've said it earlier also, was an election, a fight between the Modi regime and the people of India. It is not a fight between one political party and the other political party. It is not a fight between one alliance and the other alliance. It is not a fight between one leader and the other leader. The people of India versus the regime. In that, the civil society organizations, the people of India have played a very, very active role in taking on the regime. Had the political parties also did as much as the people had done, as much as the civil society had done, the result would have been drastically different. My feeling is that the political parties have not done their best. But you see, once the results are declared, whatever is the number, the game will be between the political parties, because the House is constituted, there are these many number of opposition leaders and these many opposition members of parliament, those many ruling party treasury benches. So the debates, etc., are between them. All right. But then the political future, the destiny of India, should not be left only to the whims and fancies of the political parties, opposition party or ruling party, or people who are in the fence, whatever. It's not a game of political parties. Citizens, especially at this juncture, when what we stood for the last 70 years, our constitution, its values of democracy, secularism, pluralism, diversity, federalism, rights of individuals, rights of states, rights of communities, minorities, etc. All these things have to be defended. And they are unfair. So you can't leave this only to the political parties. You just can't say, okay, we have voted and our responsibility is over. We have to be very vigilant. We have to engage in conversations, in debates, and in exposing the government.
Once again, I'm talking about the point you have raised, the pretension. Is this pretension is all about covering the people's mandate, or otherwise is it something related to the inner politics of BJP, that there is some discontent among the BJP cadres about the leadership itself? To cover up the discontent, they are using the pretension also.
It is quite possible. I think that the leadership knows that the people have not endorsed their policies. It's a rejection. They know it at the back of their minds, but they want to pretend. Now, the point is this, that the mandate is not endorsed their policies. That's also very clear. And they had to depend on two allies, Telugu Party and JD, Nitish Kumar and Chandra. Sir, I must tell you, these two are not their ideological allies. they are only contextual allies. They are there as a quid pro quo. They are there because of convenience. They are there, for transactional reasons. Bihar got some allocations in the budget, and Andhra Pradesh had some allocations in the budget. So continuously, these two allies have to be appeased. They have to be, pleased. Their interests have to be served. Once those interests are not served, we do not know what they are going to do. Okay. Now, because it is a very weak government, structurally, they might pretend, but structurally everybody knows that this is a government on the crutches. It has to depend on these two. My feeling is that this government is unlikely to last. Not only that the government is unlikely to last, my feeling is that the Lok Sabha, 18th Lok Sabha itself, will not last its full term. My reasoning is as follows. See, Mr. Narendra Modi, if you look at his political journey from Gandhinagar to Delhi, all these 20 odd years, he has not run even a party government, let alone a coalition government. He ran his own government. In Gandhi,
Even in Gujarat as well as in Delhi.
yes. He was not answerable to party, he was not answerable to anybody. He
was referring to my government, my government, my government.
My God. Yeah, and the 2024 manifesto of the BJP NDA, so-called, was not NDA manifesto. It was not BJP manifesto. It was Modi guarantee.
Yeah.
That even a tallest leader of BJP like Atal Bihari Vajpayee also did not say Vajpayee guarantee or Vajpayee manifesto. But that is the state of affairs, which means he is used to marginalizing his own government, colleagues in the government, his party, and the ideological mentor, the RSS, anybody. Now today, if he has to continuously appease these two allies to stay in power, every day, morning and evening, checking with them, it's very, very inconvenient to him, very uncharacteristic of him to do this kind of a thing. Therefore, I link this situation to the kind of drastic measures that they're taking and announcing. So, if they go on pushing this envelope, the lynchings will go on, the rhetoric will go on, some amendments, some new laws will be brought in, and they are actually provoking their allies who are not ideological allies to say, what kind of a thing are you doing? And when that happens, they would like to push it even further and say, look, we want to do something for Hindus and convert this into Hindu Rashtra, and ours is an ideological fight, and these people are not cooperating with us, and they are not giving their support to us, and therefore we would like to have for BJP a very, very clear supporting mandate. In order to get that kind of a strength and push all these kind of agendas, we need a fresh mandate. So they might resign, they might dissolve the Lok Sabha and go to the people and say, give 400 par, 370 or whatever, and let us come back on our own with our own strength so that we can carry out the agenda. My feeling is that, whatever little signs that I see now, they're trying to push this country into that kind of a path, push this government into that kind of a path, which would eventually result in the fall of the government, dissolution of the 18th Lok Sabha, and fresh elections.
In that scenario, does these two people, Prime Minister Narendra Modi and Home Minister Amit Shah, sure to get the backing of RSS and the other BJP leadership Do you expect so? Because the RSS itself publicly criticized the attitude of the leader itself and describing himself as God-like. RSS itself
Not biological.
not biological. RSS itself criticized it. And is there any distancing from Narendra Modi that RSS is doing now?
You can interpret some signals like that. But as far as I know, as far as my knowledge goes, that RSS is very unlikely to take any drastic action, number one. And its decision-making process is very slow. If they think of something in order for that huge organization to really come to conclusion in and implement a decision, it might take years. That's one. The second thing is, remember that next year is the centenary. So before the centenary year and in the centenary year, they would like to have a BJP government or pro-Hindutva government. They would not like to rock the boat. You have to keep that in mind. The third thing is, whatever may be their public utterances, but you see, this government has lifted the ban on civil servants going to shakas and participating in the RSS activities. So, wouldn't that please the RSS? And they are contemplating and proposing very drastic amendments to the Waqf Act. Wouldn't that please the RSS? And they have implemented, they started the Bharatiya Shiksha, the criminal laws and amendments to the IPC and other things. Wouldn't that please the RSS? And there can be so many other things also. So on the one hand, RSS will be in a dilemma. They may not probably like one or two aspects of what is happening, but overall, it stands to gain. And their financial contributions, etc., and their influence over the judiciary, over the bureaucracy, over the civil society, our education system, university, some think tanks, the entire narrative. All these are in favor of the RSS and its ideology and its view of society and all. If that is the case, why will RSS try to disrupt the government? So you need to, there are definitely signs. I'm not denying that. There are signs, but overall, on balance, I do not foresee a situation where RSS would go against the BJP government in this short run. I don't know what's going to happen in 5 years, 10 years down the line. That's a different thing. Because, you see, as far as my understanding of RSS is concerned, RSS need not be in some kind of a political wedlock with BJP. What is the RSS's overall goal? RSS overall goal is to make the entire political society and the political structure of this country Hindu. Hinduize the entire polity. So, BJP is Hinduized anyway. Now they want to Hinduize everybody. And, mind you, to some extent, to a significant extent, they have succeeded. Because you see, every political party, including the BJP, about 10 years ago, 12 years ago, used to say they were all secular, including the BJP. BJP used to say they were secular, but not like Congress and the communists. They were genuinely secular. Today, they don't talk about secularism at all. On the other hand, all other political parties are now saying they are also Hindu, but not like them. Earlier, BJP used to say that we are also secular, but not like Congress and communists. Today, all other political parties are forced to say, their leaders are forced to say, with some exceptions, of course, that they are also Hindu, but not like the Sangh Parivar and the BJP. So, the entire political discourse, the central point of the political discourse has shifted from being secular to being Hindu. And it happened under our watch. So what I'm trying to say is that because of this, the overall goal of Hinduizing the polity of India, if that is the overall goal in the long run, then they can choose any political party if that happens. But as on today, it is the BJP which is the best bet for answers. So RSS is very unlikely to upset the apple cart. Now,
Right. You said that this government is not lasting for long, and they may decide to dissolve the Lok Sabha also. If that is the case, then they are going to push the hard Hindutva agendas very fast, I think. Is there any symptoms like that? I think the instances of cow lynching happening in different parts of country, and as you mentioned, the Waqf law amendment and other rhetorics by the top leaders are all indications of this kind of movement, the divisive politics, the continuation of the divisive politics, or the fast movement of the divisive politics, and that will change the political scenario that was in 2024 election time. They are thinking like that.
My crystal gazing tells me that. I think all these are indications that they're pushing very hard the hardcore Hindutva agenda and testing. How will their allies react? How will the opposition react?
Even the Kavod Yatra.
The kind of measures that were announced by the UP government, that names of the shop owners should be declared. Of course, it is the judiciary has intervened. That's a different thing. But look at the measures and look at the kind of huge amount of support that they drummed up for that kind of a thing. What's the wrong? People should be transparent. They should declare who the owners are and all that kind of thing. If you go on pushing this, they will consolidate the core Hindu voting. That's what. Now, look at the crisis in Bangladesh. Even that they are trying to use to their advantage. That look, Hindus are being harassed. So, using anything that happens in the world, and they are circulating some letter, of some European president writing a letter to the Americans saying that Europe is going to be overwhelmed by the Muslim migrants and immigrants and all that kind of thing. This is the kind of narrative that they are pushing. They are preparing the minds of people that we need to do these kind of harsh things in order to protect the interests of the Hindus. And if at all the allies object to it, or allies say, this is not the way to go forward, and we have not signed up for NDA or these kind of things, then they would try to go to the people. Now, will hardcore Hindutva bring BJP back to power? That's the question.
Yeah, that's the question, because in 2024, people rejected the divisive politics in a clear way, I think, because the classic example is UP and Faizabad, where BJP lost their election with a huge margin. And in Amethi, they lost with a huge margin. People are not that much involved with this divisive politics, I think, in 2024 mandate. And is that a lesson to BJP? And they think that very soon the people will change their attitude towards the pro-Hindutva. And is that their thinking?
I need to bring in the Vote for Democracy report here. We all knew, I went around a lot of places in the entire country, except a few states in the northeast and in the Jammu and Kashmir. I visited almost all the states and more than once many states. People like us who went around and felt the pulse of the people, we were very clear that this BJP and its allies are in for a very, very huge setback. that, they were unlikely to come to power. But, because, whatever happened, they've come to power. Now, the Vote for Democracy report says that nearly 5 crore votes were hiked, which means 79 seats which the NDA, mostly BJP, was to lose, they won because of, including Kerala. You see, in Kerala, the hike in some constituencies was almost to the tune of about 83,000 or something like that, and that was the precise margin with which the Thrissur seat was won by the BJP.
Yeah.
So now the point is this: although a large part of the country has rejected them because of this vote hike and electoral malpractice. Now you must also remember, ECI, Election Commission of India, has not declared the gross voting.
Yeah.
And percentages also they have declared very late. The first phase of percentages of voting was declared after 11 days. Second phase, even today, there is no official declaration of what is the percentage, what is the gross voting. So we knew it only from the count. And significantly, it is the second phase in which the BJP NDA had won the maximum number of seats. Almost more than 60% of the contested seats were won by the BJP NDA in the second phase, where the voting percentage and gross voting even today are not declared by the Election Commission of India, which means that there is some manipulation. Now, coupled with manipulation, which that gives them the opportunity to come back to power even if the people reject it. They've done it in 2024 now. And when they do it, when they dissolve the house and go, if the same kind of election commission, which has now become almost like a extended government department, because the role of the Chief Justice of India is eliminated in the process of appointing the elections, and the kind of phasing that they have done, and the kind of delay in declaring the polling. Only percentages are declared and not the gross voting. And in some constituencies with 48 votes, they've won the elections. Which gives which gives rise to serious doubts about the process and the unfair advantage the BJP, the ruling party, had in the electoral bonds. They've arrested and put behind bars 2 chief ministers, one former chief minister because of before the election we had to resign, and Arvind Kejriwal, the sitting chief minister, were formidable campaigners. And you could see the result. You see, Delhi, they won 7 out of 7. Arvind Kejriwal was, for most part of the election campaign, he was behind bars. Mr. Sisodia, who was the organizer, was also behind bars. So, if these things go on in pace, what kind of a hope will anybody have of defeating the BJP? Because it is not the people's mandate that is allowed to reflect in the voting machines. So if they think that by dissolving we can go to the election and win a mandate with all these manipulations and all these mechanisms in place without they being challenged, they being changed, what hope will they have? What hope anybody will have? And they will have all the hope.